Hey, good morning. Sunday, July the 12th, 2026. Ken Arzon talking baseball on my YouTube channel, promoting my book I wrote, Yearly Leaders of Every Pitching Category. 9 chapters in this book. Chapter 3, Top 5 Pitchers in History with the most strikeouts in a season. And in this chapter, I go decade by decade from 1871 through 2025. Top 5 pitchers leading the league in strikeouts. 1870s. They didn't play very many games during that decade. I don't know if you know. It's about 50, 60 games, some of the clubs. So the strikeout totals are going to be low. But there are certain players that stood out in this decade. Let's look at it. 1871, Al Pratt, 34 strikeouts, led the league. Al Spalding, 23, George Sutton, 22, Riney Walters, 22, Bobby Matthews, 17. That's for a season. 1872, Bobby Matthews, 57, Candy Cummins, 45, Dick McBride, 44, Al Spalding, 28, George Sutton, 25. 1873 season, Bobby Matthews, third time top 5. 79 strikeouts, Al Spalding, 50, Candy Cummins, 34, George Sutton, 29, Dick McBride, 25. 1874 season, Bobby Matthews, listen to this, 101. So he's the first guy in baseball history to record over 100 strikeouts for a season, and it's 1874. 101. And that's the 4th time he makes the top 5. Candy Cummins, 61, Tommy Bond, 42, Dick McBride, 37, Al Spalding, 31. 1875 season, Candy Cummins, 1, 2, 3, his 4th time for him. 82, Al Spalding, 75. So Al Spalding, 5 times top 5. Bobby Matthews, for the 6th time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times Bobby Matthews, top 5, 75 strikeouts. Tommy Bond, 70, George Bradley, 60. 1876, starting to play more games. So Jim Devlin goes for 122 strikeouts. George Bradley, 103. Tommy Bond, 88. Al Spalding, 39. Bobby Matthews, 37. 1877 season, listen to this one. Tommy Bond, 170. So that's the highest so far. Jim Devlin, 141. Terry Larkin, 96. Tricky Nichols, 80. George Bradley, 59. 1878 season. Tommy Bond, 182. That's the highest so far. Will Wright, 169. Terry Larkin, 163. The only Nolan, 125. John Ward, Hall of Fame, 116. 1879 season, John Ward goes for 239. First guy to break 200, John Ward. Will Wright, 232. Jim McCormick, 197. Tommy Bond, 155. Terry Larkin, 142. So the decade of the 1870s is curious. What do I mean? Even though they start off the decade with 60 games played, eventually they start picking it up, get to 70, 80 games. So the high in strikeouts in 1871 was 34, and by the end of the decade, the high in strikeouts is 239 by John Ward. So the progression: more games, more strikeouts for the pitchers. 239, that's a good amount for John Ward. But we've got to give the decade to guys who did it multiple times, making the top 5. Bobby Matthews, interesting guy. He's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but he made the top 5 7 times. Al Spalding, 6 times. Tommy Bond, interesting guy there, 4 times. Jim Devlin, a couple. Candy Cummins, a couple, and George Sutton, a couple. But give the decade of the 1870s to Bobby Matthews and Al Spalding. Okay. All right, next video, I'm going to go decade by decade and devote a video to each decade. All the way from 1870s, I'm going to go all the way to 2025, each decade. Top 5 pitchers, most strikeouts in a season. Next video, 1880s. I'm out.